to order. It's 5:30.
The other day. And,
Ms. Gore, will you let the roll reflect that all board members are present? We have a quorum. And Ms. Speakman, would you lead us in the pledge?
Yes. It so happens that the flag is right behind this one. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Moment of silence, please. I'm going to assume there's no citizens here except for a district employee back there.
I think Miss Benjamin has a comment.
About your dress code, or? I'm just asking for a friend.
She got all that out in the car.
Awesome. Well, it's fabulous to have you here, Ms. Benjamin. As well as the district office. Let's move on to entertain a motion for the approval of the agenda.
Motion approved.
Mr. Benjamin?
Second.
And second, Mr. Dunn. Okay. Any discussion about tonight's agenda? Seeing none, we'll go ahead and call for a vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Agenda is approved. We'll move on to Chairman's report. I have nothing to report. Superintendent.
okay. I do have a couple of items, shockingly. So first of all, I have a few items to share that I've not been able to share with you the last couple of days. I've tried to keep you all informed about the power outages and where we are and what we're doing and who you can find where. Good luck finding us, but we're pretty much all here, and we'll be here tomorrow unless our power is restored overnight. I also want to thank you all, the board, for my vacation time. I really enjoyed that time away, and it was wonderful. I feel really recharged and excited for the upcoming school year. All the projects coming together, and I've got a real excitement for the next school year. So I'm not wishing the summer away. So don't get me wrong. I'm enjoying that too, but really excited about the upcoming school year and some of the plans that we have. I do want to give a shout out to our CO teams and our teachers that are enduring during these trying times with the summer camps. You know, we almost made it. This is the last week for all of that, but nope, we had to have issues and new plans, and we had a plan yesterday. We changed it today, and we've got a better plan for tomorrow since we have power on at multiple places now. So Mr. Goforth and his team have worked really, really hard, making the teachers feel like this is going to be okay, and got the materials moved that they need from DES to AES, and then summer programming will continue here at the high school for course recovery and summer school for those students. And then our ESY students, they will be going to Arlington Elementary, and all that's been communicated out to parents. And so I feel like we have a real good plan to finish our summer school program strong. So thanks to Mr. Goforth and Mr. Ruff and Mr. Heel and everybody that helped pull all that together, and of course the teachers that are going to be executing that. I think they're doing okay. We saw them at Mezcal at lunch today, and they didn't seem very stressed when I ran into them today. So I think they're going to be okay tomorrow. The in-service schedule, Ms. Douglas and her team are finalizing in-service plans, and that's going to be really exciting. As you know, we're going to be celebrating our 10th year as a district, so we've got some real special things that are planned that I've shared with you before. You won't know until you get there. And we will send you the full schedule, though, so you can pop in on new teacher induction or any of the other activities that are going on throughout the week. If you'd like to come by, participate in those, then feel free to jump in. You see a topic of interest that you want to come hear about, or just to visit with staff and employees, then feel free to do that. We'll get that schedule to you once that's been finalized. We're still working on that. I did want to give you an update on the Faith Baptist sidewalk connector project that we talked about briefly last year. I did speak with David Smith last week, And they are at a point where they're hoping to get drawings any day. They've had some hiccups with the project because of the civil engineer. I think the one that we're working with may have resigned and they had to secure another one from the architectural firm they were working with. So he hopes to have that to us pretty soon so we can look at that. And I anticipate bringing a resolution before you in August. Since we're not meeting in July, I probably won't be ready anyway, but by August I anticipate bringing that resolution to you all to approve. It's a very simple project. It's going to have like a crosswalk between the Donaldson back driveway and Faith Baptist access parking. They're going to expand parking, I think, in that back area as well. Right now, if people park on Sundays or Wednesdays to attend Faith on our property, they have to walk all the way down and around to get to the church. This will allow access through the middle. And the same is true for our employees, because they have allowed our employees to park there on in-service days or registration days when we need to reserve the front space for parents, and our employees have to walk all the way around that area. So this is a project that's a partnership that's both beneficial to our district and to the church, and they've been really great partners for DES, and they've offered the district's use of their facilities anytime that if we need an auditorium or anything like that, they've offered those services as well. So I anticipate bringing that to you for approval, and a representative from the church will probably be here that evening as well to just to see that through. And Ms. Speakman and Mr. Ruff and I met with them last year and sort of explained what our expectations are. Ms. Speakman, of course, from a legal perspective, and so we'll be working out those details and we'll bring that to you hopefully in August. I do want to acknowledge again Ms. Roberts, our current CFO. This is her last meeting. She's one of the OGs here from the get-go, from the beginning. So we had an opportunity at Central Office to have a little farewell fun party for her last week, and so everybody got all the feels, over with last week. So now she's making it official. She packed up all of her elephants in her office and everything else today. So she's on the way out. So she's feeling it right now. But again, I want to thank you publicly for the way you have, I guess, shepherded our finances as a district. You've left us in you've kept us in a really good place, and you're leaving us in a really good place with a very healthy fund balance. So I really appreciate your work on behalf of the district, and we wish you well, your family, and your next career move that you've advised us that you're going to be making. So again, I want to acknowledge you publicly for that. So thank you.
Thank you.
I've notified our employees that Central Office, our 12-month employees, Central Office will be closed the week of the 4th of July. We have that holiday sort of in the middle, and then we're off on Fridays anyway. So we will now be off the whole week. This will give our employees an opportunity for a final recharge, a final reset, because once the 4th is over and we get back, it's all hands on deck preparing for the upcoming school year, in service and registration and all the activities. So hopefully they'll take advantage of that, and they'll turn their laptops off and they'll have fun in the sun or whatever is fun for them, and we'll be taking that week off for our 12-month employees at that time. On the AHS Fine Arts, I don't know if you were able to peep around any. If you want to afterwards, you're welcome to. It's really moving along nicely. I'm really excited about this project. Ms. Speakman and I were just talking a minute ago how we didn't lose power here, so the work has continued, and they're moving quickly. I sent you pictures yesterday of the new floor. I'm super excited about that. The auditorium's taking shape. The backside behind the fine arts area is also taking shape, so it's really exciting to see that. Also, the security vestibules, I don't know if you have the opportunity to glance that way, but you can see sort of how that's going to work when you come on inside either entrance of the front of the building. So again, another opportunity while we're doing this project to include the new flooring while we're doing this. It's cost less to do it now than it will to do that later, and no disruption more than what we're experiencing now. So real excited about that project. Last thing I have is our 4th of July picnic that we're having at Central Office. It will be catered by Pink Flamingo. I think I sent you that information. We hope that you all can join us if your schedule allows. That's 11:45. Right now, our power is still out at Central Office, but we're still going to have the picnic, and it will be moved to AMS cafeteria if we don't have power back tomorrow. We will notify Pink Flamingo tomorrow to come to AMS, and we'll have our picnic there instead of it at CO. Hopefully, some of you can make it if your schedule allows. At this time, we're going to move into departmental reports. Dr. Clark is on vacation this week, so I have a very brief report from her. Basically, she says in the area of classified staffing, we have 11 resignations and 1 retirement, and we also added 4 new classified positions this year, a media engineer and then 3 teacher assistants. And we've hired 8 of the 16 positions, so we have 8 more that will need to be hired. Certified, we had 16 certified people that have resigned. We've had 8 to retire, and we added a total of, I think, 3 new positions in the area of special ed, a teacher at AMS, and I think another teacher at DES. And then we have a new transition counselor that's grant funded that we'll be adding at AMS to help with transition from middle school to high school and a head start on 4-year planning, which I think is very important with the focus on career ready when our students leave the high school. So we've hired about 18 of those positions, and I think we have 9 left to fill. Mr. Abraham has 3 positions of 9 at the high school that he will not be filling, because every time we have a resignation or a retirement there, as I've shared with you before, we reassess the need for that position, because as we're losing students each year at the high school, we're trying to figure out a way to make sure we shore that up without having to lay off teachers at the end of the day. So this will be 3 positions that we will be able to take care of, so we can continue our promise to our high school teachers that we're not going to have to lay off employees. So I think that's important for the morale and the future of our district to give people that assurance. And I appreciate you all investing in that as a board so that our employees can have that security. So that's Dr. Clark's report. And next I'll have Ms. Douglas, accountability.
Good evening. Just a few things, if I may, because I don't have much of a voice. Mr. Mayo did reference the in-service schedule, so again, my team will be finalizing that soon and sending that to you guys. Hopefully you've already ordered your t-shirts, because that order is due very, very soon. Our department is also offering summer flex opportunities at PD during the summer, so we started that a few weeks ago. We actually have 27 different sessions happening this summer so that teachers can start earning those PD hours. And remember, those are the days they get for Thanksgiving and Christmas break. My department continues to process non-resident applications. Again, that's usually about 200 per year that we process for people trying to get into the district. A great number of those are kindergarten students. Usually it's about 100 applicants for kindergarten. So we still have testing dates in July, as well as maybe that first week of August. So we'll screen those students as needed. And then it's also that season for TCAP scores. We don't have the state's agenda or calendar yet, but once we have that, we'll start piecing that data out as the embargoes lift for the TCAP data. And those are the highlights for my group. Any questions or comments?
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Douglas. Next we have Mr. Ruff. He's been a tad bit busy.
Good afternoon. I am a little tired, so just bear with me. We have, as you well saw, gotten right into the middle of this remodel. That's where we've focused for the biggest part right now on getting this back up and ready for when teachers return. We have, I mean, it's a rolling ball. I mean, we tear a wall out, we're adding a wall back. I mean, we've got ceiling grid going back up. We're painting all of the areas as we go along. We are continuing. It's just a revolving door back there. Security vestibules, main office, and attendance office, we anticipate being done in 2 weeks. So we feel pretty good about meeting a lot of these interior deadlines. They don't get affected by weather delay, although power can be an issue. Thank goodness we didn't lose power on this one. So we're moving forward on that. Baseball bleachers began this week. They're actually supposed to be finished within the next couple of days. Unfortunately, I see we have some severe storms may move in the morning, just fingers crossed, and nothing happens on that. Central elevator at the CO was scheduled to be finished today. And unfortunately, with no power, we're unable to get any type of permit or anything on that, so we're in a holding pattern on that. They started the remill of the asphalt at the middle today. We've got probably 75% of the sidewalks completed to this point. Once they complete the remill, then they'll come in and redo the entire parking lot. We're going to wait until we get all the sidewalk done and all the grading done, and then we'll do the striping. So we're anticipating that being about the middle of July. And then the kitchen at AES, we've begun the total demolition of that. I think many of you saw that, the Facebook post. We got the FRP up on the wall. We're demoing the floor as we speak. And we're actually hopefully going to have that epoxy floor done by tomorrow or Thursday. So, and I think that's a pretty decent overview of where we are right now.
Yeah.
Any questions?
It's awesome.
Thank you, Mr. Ruff.
Oh, and track got completed. They're painting it today. We did in the wind, however, have a bleacher flip over and it put a couple of holes in it. So they're going to get that repaired, and then we'll hopefully have one at least off the list. So.
Are you going to be offering joy rides on the elevator when we open that?
I cannot wait.
Okay.
Everybody out there.
It's looking good. We had, I noticed the flooring went in sometime
Yes, sir.
over the last week or so.
Yeah, we got
where
the
it matches the
Yes, sir.
district floor, so it's
Yes, sir.
looking good. It's getting there.
Thank you, guys.
Awesome, thank you.
Okay, Mr. Heel.
I can't promise I'm going to be as quick as the last two reports, because this is the time of year where we give the strategic plan update. And so it's been a year since we last presented that to you. And so I want to give you just a kind of a high-level overview about what we've been able to do on the strategic plan this year and some other updates that are happening in the communications department. So as you will recall, the title of the strategic plan is Portrait of an ACS Graduate. In year one, we really wanted to focus on the education of the strategic plan. Because you may remember last year when we presented this, it was unlike any strategic plan we've ever undertaken as a district. It's very different because it focuses on this portrait first and then gets to the strategies later. And so we really wanted to take year one by educating employees about what is the strategic plan, what is the portrait of the graduate, how did we craft this, and then what do these tenets mean? What do these strategies mean? We really wanted to take our time and educate the folks who are going to be going out and helping us cultivate this portrait. And so we really wanted to spend year one on that. So I want to talk about some of the ways we hit the ground running with educating our employees about the strategic plan. So the first obviously was the theme. The entire theme of last year was revolved around the portrait of an ACS graduate through creating our masterpiece. The round robin professional development day that happens during in-service was centered on 3 of the 5 tenets, which is communicate effectively, collaborate intentionally, and cultivate creativity. And really that round robin day and that kind of in-service, like the portrait and like the strategic plan, was unlike anything we've ever done before. A lot of times when it comes to round robin, it's grade levels working together, it's elementary, it's middle and high school. We threw that out the window, we threw all the teachers together. High school teachers were working with elementary teachers, middle with other people that they normally don't communicate with, and they had to professionally develop together. So that was really cool and just a unique way to really dive everyone into the portrait. The other thing that we've done really by educating is the employee hashtag campaign. This was new as well. So we reached out to different sponsors throughout Arlington to help us fund these giveaways. But really what we were encouraging employees to do was implement the portrait into their job roles, whether they're teachers or their support staff. Whatever it is, how can you implement the portrait of an ACS graduate into your job role? But the second part of that was, how can you highlight this publicly on social media? And so this was the first time we ever told teachers, like, hey, if you want to go out and create a professional Instagram or a professional Twitter, you can do that. Just showcase how you're implementing the portrait in your classroom or job role. And so they would use the hashtag, and then Mr. Mayo and I would select the winners each month, or each giveaway, based on how many hashtags they did, the quality of the content they did. And we gave things out like air fryers and Beats headphones, Apple HomePod. Oh gosh, what was some of the other things? A blender.
Yeah.
Like really good gifts. Really good gifts. Not just a Sonic gift card, although gift cards are great. I mean, these were really good gifts. So it kind of got the competition going between a lot of the teachers who wanted to participate. It was a lot of fun watching them along that journey, seeing how they were implementing the portrait into their classroom. And so the last part of that education campaign is obviously student awareness. How are we involving the students in? And obviously in the classroom, they're hearing about the portrait from their teachers through the different projects they're doing. But we also had signs, we had banners. Several of the schools did Student of the Month programs that focused on the portrait. How are you as a student cultivating creativity or being resilient or leading with empathy? And so each month was kind of centered around how that student modeled the different tenets. So that was some of the education about really getting out in year one and just driving the portrait home, and how we all work together to really identify these tenets in the first place. But we did also hit on several of the strategies. Though year one was all about education, we did want to hit on some of the 12 strategies that you all heard from last year. And I want to hit on a couple of those. One of the big ones was creating or identifying and developing a K-12 college and career platform that helps learners discover interests, streaks, and post-ACS goals to create a long-term roadmap from the moment they enter the district. So that's the title of the strategy. I think I'm missing some words up here, but really the program that we developed there was School Links. And this really allows us to track the college and career interests of our students from the youngest grade levels in elementary school. But where it really gets intuitive is at the middle and high school level, because we're able to really kind of dive in to those analytics to see what our students are interested in, and that helps us and the academics team led by Mr. Goforth really drive home what we're doing with our curriculum, how we're informing future programs. And so a couple of things I pulled out with Kim Douglas, our secondary education supervisor. We know that 82.5% of our rising ninth graders, they just finished 8th grade, they're interested in being college bound. They want to go to a 4-year university. And we know the majority of that 82% right now want to go to the University of Memphis. Some of this is anecdotal evidence that we probably always assumed, like, yeah, most of our kids want to go to college. A lot of them probably want to stay here locally, University of Memphis, that makes sense. But now we have the data to back up what we were always thinking. To go a little further with that, our current 8th graders, about 32% of them are interested in TV productions, communications, marketing, and health science. Those were the two programs that kind of rose to the top. And so you could see how over time, as we get more data like this, and we continue to dive into those analytics, how that is going to inform the academics team about what investments we need to make in curriculum and programs moving forward. So if those are the two programs that our students are really interested in, how can we beat those up? But are there others that they may be interested in that we don't even offer at the high school yet? And so that's going to be a really powerful tool as we go further. So looking forward, this year was really focused on college and career interests, but moving forward, it's going to house the high school and beyond plan. I think that's a new term that the state's using, but that's the 4-year plan. So when you come in as a freshman, you fill out your 4-year plan about what courses you're going to take over the 4 years. But it's this program, School Links, is eventually going to house that, and also course selection. This year, it also included an alumni component. So before our class of 2023 graduates left, we were able to get their personal email address, their phone number. That way we can keep in touch with them, which is really important on certain reports that we have to do internally. But also if we ever want to hold listening sessions with alumni, it's much easier to get in touch with them. So those are some of the things we did with this particular strategy of the strategic plan this year. Some other ones: implement student-centered approaches to teaching and learning by emphasizing K-12 project-based learning. So really across the board, we saw more project-based learning at every level. But I particularly wanted to pull out how Arlington Middle just absolutely rocked PBL this year. They did PBLs each quarter that focused on subject levels, subject department. So like English got together and they did a project-based learning lesson that quarter. But by the end of it, it was not only cross-discipline by subject, but also specific to grade levels. And the last one that they did was about transportation systems and ancient civilizations. So just to kind of give you like an idea and bring that to life, I had to get with Ms. Banks today. So this is what that was. So in social studies, students learned about ancient civilization transportation systems. So transportation in old times, right? So in science, they learned about how the land and vegetation in that time could potentially influence that system. But in math, they learned about the concept of scale and how to draw the designs for that transportation system. In STEM, they then used all of that knowledge to create the transportation system itself, like a 3D model of it. And then finally, they wrote about the entire process in ELA. So you can see how that is an entire grade level across many subjects of project-based learning. And so that's why I really wanted to pull out Arlington Middle School, because although all schools did a really good job, they really tackled it school-wide, which was really cool to see. The next is support the interest and involvement of students by identifying clubs and organizations that actively engage students in real-world learning. So all schools saw more clubs and organizations this year. We saw an increase in that. And while that's great, what I think is really cool, what you guys just passed as a board and that Mr. Mayo brought to you, is that new student activity grant fund, which is $500,000 to go to clubs and organizations, classrooms, and sports to help, again, go back to that strategy, identify new clubs, but also bolster the ones we have. I mean, that's huge that you guys put $500,000 towards that. And so we're already working on how teachers will be able to apply for it. There's going to be an application process, and then we'll help fund these projects over the year. So it's going to be really fun this next year and in years 3, 4, and 5 of the strategic plan to see how far we've come with that fund. At AES, I wanted to pull out Best Buddies introduction. So Best Buddies is a club that's been around at the high school for many years, but it's a way to bring together our typical peer students with functional skills students. But Arlington Elementary, they launched it this year for the first time ever, and they were given the elementary chapter of the year for the entire state for recruiting more than 50 people into the club its very first year. So just one example of how we identified that club as a need, but then it also really hits on all of the strategies and all of the tenets, including being resilient and leading with empathy, which I think are sometimes the two that might be hard to hit on, while communicating and collaborating, that's a little easier to hit on. Being resilient and leading with empathy is something you have to kind of think a little differently about, but they were able to do that with that club, so I think that's really cool. Implement and encourage school and district-wide service learning projects. The one I really wanted to pull out was our inaugural Track or Treat, just because it involved clubs and organizations from all of the schools, really got our students involved, but we also had more than 3,000 attendees come to that event. And so that's definitely going to come back this next year as well. Expand parent education programs, that's another strategy. So our Pet Talks program, which has been around for a couple of years, we saw more sessions from parent tips for a healthy school year, recognizing and responding to depression, on the move with ADHD, and our mental health showcase in the spring semester. So we expanded there. Donaldson, they expanded their coffee with the counselors. I think they were doing it about once a month, where parents could come in and learn about various mental health topics with the counselors there at Donaldson. So we saw more in that strategy too. And then host annual school level student listening sessions to ensure student voice is being heard. All the schools did this towards the end of Q4. And so why that is important to kind of do it at the end of the year is we can see how did we do on the portrait and the strategic plan, and how will that inform us in our practices this next year. And so they'll use some of the things they heard in those student listening sessions for next school year. And that is an update on the strategic plan. Moving on to another thing just happening in the communications department. So not only they're going to have that $500,000 student activity fund, but we also have in place the ACS sponsorship program. which we collect funds by selling Jumbotron ads and panels at the Jumbotron and also the video board in the gymnasium here at the high school. So the last 2 years, we've distributed more than $40,000 in grants to teachers, clubs and organizations and sports. But specifically this year, $23,000 was recently distributed. And I just pulled out some of the things just so you can see that really it's hitting a lot of different areas. Mystery science packs, that will be for project-based learning. Again, going back to the strategic plan, but that will be for the 4th grade team at Donaldson. So all of the 4th grade team will be able to do this mystery science project-based learning thanks to this program. The health science class here at the high school, they're getting a new patient monitor for their health science class, which is going to allow more hands-on activities in that class. Art supplies for a 3D project, DECA conference fees, AMS boys basketball jerseys, and a lot more with that $23,000. So you see we're hitting a lot of different areas from education, like true education in the classroom, to sports and clubs and that sort of thing. Also excited to say that the district has won 5 national awards from the National School Public Relations Association. This just came out, I want to say, last week or the week before. So this is a national organization I'm a part of, but what's really cool about these awards is although I submitted them, all these are collaborative projects with either schools or different departments around ACS. And so we won an award of excellence. This was with the Human Resources Department and Dr. Clark. This was an on-the-road recruitment kit, which included standing banners, postcards, and testimonial videos that Dr. Clark uses when she goes on the road to recruit future employees to the district. So that won an award of excellence for that kit. We also won an award of excellence for the ACS Connect newsletter. We did about 31 editions this past year that had about 300,000 views across the year. So that was pretty cool to win that one. Our new website redesign, that won an award of merit. Our Tiger One book, which is for new students to the high school. I think you got copies earlier this year. That was an award of merit. And then also our Ready Set Kindergarten blog, which helps families of rising kindergartners learn some basic skills, like learning how to hold a pencil or different things before they get to kindergarten. Things that they should know before they get to kindergarten, but they don't always know. So they're kind of having to play catch up. And so I worked with Andrew Cotner in academics and also a lot of our elementary kindergarten teachers to find out the topics that parents really need to know before they come to kindergarten and send out that blog. But it's also a way for us to reach these families to tell them about when registration is happening. Because sometimes they're the hardest families to reach because they're not in our system. And so we don't have their email. And so this is a way that they can sign up for a blog and they get this information, but we also get their contact information. So that won an award as well. And then finally, we did launch the ACS Communications internship this past year with Jake Stoop. It was awesome. I told him from the beginning, you're the guinea pig, so if this does not do well, you will be the last. But it did well, and I did not know that Noah was going to be here tonight. But the picture on the right, that is Noah Certion. He's here in the back. Say hey, Noah. Hi. Hey, Noah. And so he doesn't know this yet, but you're going to come back in August and you're going to present to the board about why you wanted to do this internship. But I'll let you just be there tonight. I didn't know he was going to be here tonight, and so I found him a picture of him from his 8th grade promotion ceremony. You're now going to be a junior. So this was old. He's like, oh no, I don't know what photo that is. I've aged a little bit, but still good. Really excited to have Noah. Jake was a very good intern for our first one. He did a lot of work. He was able to hit the ground running with video and storytelling, and so it was really great having him. But I think Noah's going to follow up with just as much skill and talent. He was the best television reporter for the entire state of Tennessee in high schools this past year. And so we really got lucky with him. He's going to hit their ground running in August, and this goes back to work-based learning as well. So he's getting some work-based learning credit, but he's also getting paid this year as well. It's a paid internship that you guys approved in the budget a few weeks ago. So that is my update. Any questions?
No, that's good stuff. That's good stuff.
Thank you, Tyler.
Thanks.
That's awesome. congratulations on the awards too.
Yes.
We know those wouldn't have happened without your skill in pulling all that together. I do want to share about the strategic plan. I did have a new superintendent to contact me actually while I was at the beach, and I didn't respond until I got back from the beach. But she wanted to know about our strategic plan, and so I sent her a little information about it. I sent her a web link and all of that. And she wrote me back and she said, this is way too abstract for me right now, being a new superintendent. Do you have anything that's old that you can send me? So I sent her our first 2 other strategic plans that are your basic ones. She wrote me back. She said, gives me something I can work with. So anyway, that tells you how other people are viewing our abstract strategic plan, but I think it's great. It's wonderful. We're making progress. And I've said it before, and I'll say it again. I think in my 35-year history of being an educator, I feel like more people in this district know about and what the strategic plan is than ever before because of the way that's been pushed out and incorporated in what we do every day. So thank you, Tyler, for helping us push that out.
You know, along those lines, it really was kind of the eye-opening thing, the light bulb moment for me was our previous strategic plans were standard, traditional kind of things, but those were things that we were gonna do anyway.
Right.
We had to improve classrooms, we had to improve infrastructure, we had to build new buildings. Those are things that just have to be done.
Right.
And it didn't make sense that it was part of the strategic plan because it's just, you gotta do it. And so I love this direction. It is different. It's heady, and which makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And so I really appreciate that.
Okay. All right. Next, Ms. Speakman doesn't have an update, but if you look at your consent agenda tonight, her 23 policy revisions is her legislative, legal department, and everything else update. So unless you have anything else to share.
I do not. I will spare you that. Yes.
Okay, all right, thank you. Mr. Goforth, academics.
Good evening. How are y'all doing tonight?
Great. How are you?
Great. Good to be here. As Mr. Mayo has referenced earlier, we have a lot going on this summer. Probably, as I said earlier today, some of the teachers, probably the busiest summer probably I've been involved with in probably 30 years. So we got a lot going on. So just some updates just for you so you know, we have quite a number of summer programs going on across the district. We have our ESY summer program that will finish up on Thursday. We have about 30 students we're supporting there. We have ended up with 130 students enrolled in our summer camps, and we ended up with about 30 students here at Arlington High School in the course recovery program as well. I do, as Mr. Mayo has mentioned earlier too, I do want to thank all of the teachers as we had to transition from Donaldson Elementary School to Arlington Elementary School today. And that sounds easy, but it's not easy. When you ask teachers to move everything they've been doing over to another school, nurses, nutrition, and it just keeps going, new arrival procedures, new dismissal procedures. But anyway, I wanted to specifically thank the summer camp teams, the ESY teams, for all of their great work today because it was just this perfect. They just picked everything up. Everybody was happy moving over. And also a special thank you to the technology team for getting all the iPads ready when we got to Arlington Elementary School. And also, as Mr. Mayos mentioned earlier too, a special thanks to Mr. Ruff because he was very important in all of this work today too. So we have transitioned ESY and our summer camps over to AES, and those will begin in the morning. So we're excited about that. In reference to third grade retention, the exciting thing of the year,
Yeah.
I do want to say I'm extremely proud of this district and our teachers the way that was handled because it was very challenging for many families in the community because they go the whole year not knowing if their student is going to be promoted to the next grade. I will say we did keep our promise. Our goal was to help these families get on the right promotional pathway, and we did just that. We had some very, as you know, we have great teachers in this district. We ended up having about an estimated 242 students who were proficient in third grade. we had only 64 students that were approaching in third grade, and then we only had 6 students who were below. So those are outstanding numbers. So what we had to do as a team is to get those approaching students and those below students on the proper promotional pathway. And there was 3 ways to do that. They could come to summer camp, they could be tutored next school year, or they could file an appeal with the state. So our first goal was to encourage all parents to file an appeal with the state. And as of today, we've had 17 appeals that were filed, 14 were approved, and 3 are pending. So the state is pretty much approving any appeal that is submitted to them, which is great. So what does all of this really mean? We're probably going to end up at the end of all of this with every student on the right pathway. We're going to probably end up with 5 or 6 students that will require tutoring the next school year, but those kids can move on to 4th grade, which is a positive. So I'm very proud of what our team, what this district, what our teachers have done. And like you said, I saw Ms. Benjamin back here, but you know, the 3rd grade teachers have done an outstanding job with this, but we really need to thank all of these teachers because this starts in kindergarten. They have impact on these kids. 1st grade teachers do, 2nd grade teachers. So you all know, I just can't say it enough, the outstanding work the teachers in this district do. And we were in excellent shape when we got these results back because this was very manageable for us to deal with students and parents. So, and all of that's to be contributed to the great work from what our teachers did with these kids. So very, very excited about how that was handled. I must mention Andrea Cottner. Andrea Cottner, she was a mastermind at managing all of this work on these promotional plans. She contacted all of these approaching parents, all of these below parents, got them what they needed, got them on the right pathway. So much of this credit goes to her work because she was on the front lines and dealing with this. So just want to give her a shout out for all she's done with that as well.
Oh, that's stellar.
It's outstanding.
That is.
If you look at the
off
numbers
the
in the
charts.
state, there are educational juggernauts that we beat. And to your credit, you're saying kindergarten through 3rd grade. I mean, we beat institutions, we're 10 years old almost. We beat institutions that have been around for 100 years that are literally educational juggernauts in the state. We beat them. It's amazing. It is really amazing.
Yeah.
I got phone calls from districts all over the state saying, your numbers are amazing for 3rd grade retention. Some of them were not what we expected, but that you said it's a testament to this district and these teachers and to this team. It's amazing. I'm extremely proud of that.
Yes.
Absolutely. They do outstanding work. So, just a few other updates quickly. As you know, you did all approve the new math textbooks for this 23-24 school year. We've had teachers busy this summer updating pacing guides, writing new curriculum to have that ready when school starts to support the new math textbooks. So that is going on as well. Also, you probably are aware, July 11th through the 14th, we will be hosting the State Technology Conference here at Arlington High School. Those will be technology educators from all over the state of Tennessee. More than welcome to stop in on any of those days, but that's a great testament also to our technology department and the work they do for us to be able to host this event here at Arlington High School, bring educators, technology educators from all over the state to see this community, to see this district, and to see the great work we're doing. So that is another highlight. So we're excited about that. And Mr. Winkler will be leading that conference up for the district, but also for the state. And last thing that our team has been working on, as Ms. Douglas referenced earlier, was on July 28th, our team is working on our round robin PD day. That's where all our teachers will come over to Arlington High School to get professional development in support for the new school year. So that is my academics report. Any questions?
Well done. Just well done.
Thank you, Mr. Goforth. One of the things that, as he mentioned, the in-service I failed to mention is that we have sent out invitations already to all of our special guests, former superintendent, former board members, former administrators that work for our district. We've sent all of those invitations out, and now we're in the process of getting RSVPs, so we'll know who to expect for that. But I failed to mention that earlier in my report. I had it down, but I skipped over it. One of the other things I want to say is we've talked a lot about having to make plans and all of that, and I think, you know, as educators, we always learn from our past experiences, and I think that's one of the things that makes this team so strong is how we handled COVID, how we managed through that. When we have a crisis like this, I mean, we're really good at crisis management as a result of COVID. So when we have a power outage or we have something like this, everybody just kicks into their mode and does what they know they need to do. And the kids and the teachers, in essence, don't miss a beat when that happens. So again, thanks to this team, and extended all the way out to the teachers, teacher assistants that are assisting with everything this week. Everybody at Central Office has pitched in and done what they need to do. So I'm very proud of that. I'm very proud to lead a district that knows how to do that. So that concludes my report.
Awesome. Does anybody on the board have a question about the numbers?
Just kudos for everything that's going on and how well they've done.
Yeah. All right. Ms. Williams, do you have anything to report? Did you send that to us, or?
Yeah, I sent it to you.
Beautiful, perfect. Thank you so much for that. We'll go ahead and move on then to the consent agenda. We'll entertain a motion.
Just to approve.
Mr.
Second.
Benjamin and Ms. Khan. Cool. Is there discussion on anything on the consent agenda? I do want to point out, Ms. Speakman and I had some conversations. One that's really important on this is public speaking at school board meetings, and that was kind of a weird thing that the state dropped on us, and I think we did the best thing to allow people to speak, and it was a great suggestions by you, and I appreciate all the help working through that, because basically the law said either you have to use our generic one or you can come up with your own, and so clearly we came up with our own that we felt was important to give parents a voice. So thank you for, well, all of these policies, but that one in particular. So any discussion on any of that stuff, because it is a bunch.
It was a lot.
It was a lot. Some of it was pretty simple, one line, and some of it was not so simple. Anybody, any discussion? Okay. We'll go ahead and call for a motion to approve. All those in favor?
Second. The motion.
Yeah, when you called me,
No,
I'm sorry.
For a vote.
Sorry, done
Yeah, a vote, sorry. All those in favor? Say
Aye.
aye. Any opposed? Perfect. All right, I think we just have one business item.
All right. So the business item, recommended action item for your consideration tonight is the approval of the IDEA, ESEA federal funds allocations for 2023-24. You have, if you can't call that up on your iPad, the very last page of your packet. It has a breakdown of what we are being funded federally this next school year. And if you'll recall, I think in our May board meeting, Ms. Douglas had a slide on this to show you the drastic decreases that we received in some areas, over $1 million in one area. Almost every area decreased by like $900, $900 another area, Title III, Title IV by $50,000, IDEA by $350,000, and then pre-K by about $500,000. So all those areas decreased, and Ms. Douglas shared that with us earlier. But this action is necessary so that we can receive those funds and utilize them to the best of our abilities and for what they're intended. So with that is my recommendation that you approve the IDEA, ESEA federal funds allocations for the 2023-2024 school year.
Mr. Chairman, so move.
Yes, ma'am, Ms. Wood.
Second.
Ms. Conley had her hand up, Scott.
That's okay.
I'm gonna go with her. So is there discussion on any of this stuff? No, we'll go ahead and call for a vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. All right, we are adjourned.